Hey guys, it's Hogan here, and in this video I want to share with you guys my 10 mistakes that I made when starting my Amazon FBA business. So I started this business in mid 2021 with my sister, and we're currently selling in the Australian marketplace in the home category. And I want to share with you guys just my personal mistakes and my personal experiences. So hopefully you guys can take something away from this video and apply it and avoid my mistakes, as well as saving a lot of money. So the first mistake that we made was with our packaging. So I feel like this is very, very important because it literally costs us thousands and thousands of dollars, and not many people talk about it. So what I mean by that is that when we first started to design our packaging for our product, we looked at a lot of our competitors on the marketplace, like from Amazon, from eBay, AliExpress, also from manufacturers Alibaba, and department stores as well. So with our packaging, we decided to go with a packaging style and an opening style which is similar to one of the top brands in the marketplace, because not many people were actually doing that style on Amazon. So I thought maybe we could go something like that, and that brand is not selling on Amazon, so I thought that was an opportunity. So we designed our packaging. Obviously the sort of design is different, but the dimensions and the opening style is quite similar. So we got our products done, and then we got the packaging done. We got all our stock ready and sent to the Amazon warehouse, ready to sell in November 2021. And we started selling pretty much right away after we launched our Amazon pay-per-click campaigns. So for those of you who don't know what Amazon pay-per-click is, it's basically where you pay Amazon to be listed on the top of the search results, and you pay them per click. So we started making sales right away because in the Australian marketplace, it wasn't that competitive at that time. It's more competitive now. So, I was very happy with it, but our margins weren't that great. So our profit margins were quite low. We were trying to figure out, how can we actually make more money per unit? So obviously you've got the cost of goods, you've got the shipping, you've also got like the advertising fee and other miscellaneous costs. Those ones are pretty much fixed, but then you've got the FBA fees. So the FBA fees is actually made up of two parts. You've got one part, which is the category referral fees. So that's going to be dependent on the category and a percentage of your selling price. So you can't really change that now because obviously we have that product already, and you can't really change the categories. So the second part of it is actually the fulfillment fees. So that is basically the pick, pack, and ship fees that you pay to Amazon to deliver it to your customer. So in terms of the packaging size, we're actually in the large envelope tier. So 33 times 23 times 5 centimeters in height. Our product was around 17 times 12 times 3.5 centimeters in height. So we're in this large envelope tier, and the weight was less than 250 grams. So we paid around $5.12 per unit sold. So because we took inspiration from one of the major brands that were selling, the packaging was kind of, thicker, like taller. We could have made it actually smaller, kind of similar to what all the Amazon sellers were actually doing. So I'm not sure why I sort of ignored it. I sort of remembered looking at this table, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. I didn't really think, $2 was such a big difference, but it actually is for Amazon FBA, because normally when you're selling on Amazon FBA, the margins aren't as big as if you were to sell it, as your own brand. So if we made it smaller, which we definitely could have, for example, made the height of the product less than 2.5 centimeters, we could have saved around $2.17. If we made it smaller, it would have been $2.95 per unit sold. So let's just say, for example, you sell 1,000 units per month. That's around $2,000 saved every single month. So that's a lot of money, especially if you times that out by 12, which is around $25,000 per year saved. Now you can use that extra profit to make your products cheaper. So that's going to increase your conversion rates, increase your sales, and add a little bit more of a competitive advantage as well. Or you could add like a coupon code. You can use that money to invest into more inventory. You can use some of that profit for your holidays. It's actually quite a lot of money, like $2. So I think it's very, very important that you check out the FBA fees and you check out the tiers that you can actually fit into, and try to make your packaging as small as possible. And you can still make it quality. It depends on like the type of cardboard, type of materials that you actually use, but definitely check out the different size tiers. So this is going to lead us to our second mistake, which is packaging again. So as you know, we redesigned our packaging, and this time we made the height of the product, I think, less than 2.4 centimeters. And we're very happy with the design, and we were also like very excited to know that we're gonna save $2,000 every single month. So the design looked very, very proportional. I'm very happy with it. We sent it into the warehouse and we asked for a remeasurement of our packaging. So something to note is that you should finish your old stock before you ask for a remeasurement, because they're going to pick a random product off the shelf to remeasure. So they actually remeasured our packaging, and when we actually got the email back, I was kind of like, oh no, stuffed up again, because the height was around 2.9 centimeters, and that means we're basically still in the large envelope tier. So we asked for another remeasurement. Again, it came back like 3 centimeters. Contacted the seller support. They weren't able to help us too much. And if you've ever dealt with the Amazon seller support, they're not that great, right? They don't really give personalized answers. A lot of the answers are like sort of like from an FAQ, and they just copy and paste it. So yeah, I felt like that, we made the mistake again, which was basically perhaps not making small enough. So if I were to do it again, I would definitely go less than 2 centimeters. So probably less than 1.9 centimeters. So then for sure that we would be in the standard envelope tier, right? So right now we're in the process of redesigning it. This time we're trying to make it as thin as possible, which is around 1.5 centimeters. So then for sure, it's gonna fit under the standard envelope tier. So I think this is like two important things to note, is that make sure to check the FBA fulfillment fees and check the tiers. And then you also want to make sure that it is sort of at least 0.5 centimeters below the threshold of the max dimensions here. So our third mistake was not using Wise sooner, formerly known as TransferWise. So I'm going to explain exactly what it is in a second, but let me give you an example. So when you are purchasing your stock, normally you're purchasing it overseas, right? So in this case, I'm purchasing it from China. I'm based in Australia, and normally they accept USD in terms of payment, sometimes Chinese renminbi, but nevertheless, you'll have to actually convert your currency. So for example, AUD to USD. Now, there are a lot of videos that talk about like the FBA mistakes, but a lot of them actually don't explain this part, because a lot of them are from the United States and you don't really have to convert the currency before sending it over. So yeah, if you're an international seller, I feel like this is really, really important, because it's going to save you thousands of dollars every single year. Let's just say, for example, you need to send $10,000 to your supplier. And if you go to a website like xe.com, this is where I check the currency and the rates and things like that. So it's going to cost around $15,074 to convert it to around 10,000 USD for your supplier. But this is not the final amount that you have to send over. Generally, you have to use your local bank to transfer that money. So in this case, I'm using ANZ. And as you can see over here, if I needed to send $10,000, it's going to cost me around $15,586, right? So that's a difference of about 500 plus. Now you might be wondering, like, where did it come from, right? So as you can see, there's $0 in like transfer fees and $0 in the correspondent fees or any fees like whatsoever. Over here, it says on the bottom, it's $0, right? So where they actually get you is with a high exchange rate markup. So as you can see over here, $1 AUD equals around 0.6416 USD, right? And if you actually compare this to the actual, or also known as the mid-market rate, it's 0.66, right? It's not such a big difference when you're converting just like $1, but if you're converting like 10,000, 100,000, it makes a very, very big difference, right? So with local banks, generally they charge a very high exchange rate markup, and this is where they make their money. So this is where you want to use something like Wise. So Wise is basically a online money transfer company that allows you to send money internationally, really cheaply, securely, and very fast. So I only started using Wise, I think 5 to 6 months ago, and I really, really love it. I also use it for personal purposes like travel as well. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. But let's just say you want to transfer money to China. So you click on send money now. And with Wise, it's a little bit different in how it actually works when you're sending money. So let's say, for example, I want to send $10,000 USD. So over here, so I'm going to put 10,000. Okay, I'm going to change this to USD, and I am in Australia. Okay, so over here, I'll only have to send $15,186 $147 in order for my recipient to get $10,000. So as you can see here, it is much cheaper than sending through the bank, which I save around, let's say, over $400 I save, right? So that's a lot of money. If you send like $100,000 per year, then you're gonna save like $4,000, right? Which is a ton of money. So as you can see over here, they charge a fee for your transfer, which is around $73 AUD, but they actually just use the mid-market rate. So the same rate that you get from Google, same rate that you get from xe.com, they just use that. So the reason how they can offer like such a cheap rate is because you're not really sending money internationally. So what Wise does is they have probably, I think, dozens of bank accounts all around the world, and they're all interconnected. So if I want to send money to China, so what happens is I send money from my Australian bank account to the Australian Wise bank account, okay? And then what happens is that since it's all interconnected, then the Wise bank account in China is going to send the money domestically to the supplier in China. So the money never really crosses any borders. So it's really fast, it's secure, and you get the best rates as well, right? You do pay a fee, but overall you save a ton of money. So I highly recommend checking out Wise. I'll leave the link to Wise in the description below. I think you can get like a free money transfer or something like that. But you can also use it for personal purposes as well. So recently when I went on a holiday to Thailand, I converted the currency in Wise first, like AUD to Thai baht. And then you can also get like a debit card that you can basically use, like any other card, right? So it basically just deducts from that Thai baht amount. And it's going to be much cheaper than going to like a currency exchange shop in the airport or whichever shop that you go to. It's normally going to be a much better rate, and you can convert it to like, all different currencies all around the world. And it's really amazing. In terms of a business account, this is the one that I use for the e-commerce business. You can also connect it to like accounting software as well. So you can do your accounting really easily. You can also get like a business debit card. You can also receive currency as well. So for example, if you are like a freelancer or if you receive income, you can create a incoming bank account so you can receive that money. So I used to, be a freelancer as well, sell stuff online, and I still do receive money overseas. I used to receive it on PayPal, but PayPal actually charges a really high exchange rate markup as well. With Wise, they don't charge the exchange rate markup, they just charge a small fee. So normally I get my money deposited into my Wise bank account, right? If I transfer it to PayPal, I'll have to like convert it USD to AUD, and their rates are very high as well. And you can save just a ton of money by using Wise. So I can't recommend it enough. I feel it's very important, especially if you are an international seller, not in the United States. There are also other companies as well, so you don't necessarily have to use Wise. You can check out other similar companies like Wise as well. So our fourth mistake was not knowing our inventory limits before sending in our products. With this particular mistake, it wasn't for this particular brand that we started on Amazon, but it was for a separate brand, right? But I still feel like it's very worth mentioning because I think a lot of people don't know this and not many people mention it. So prior to this brand, I had a separate brand which is just selling on its website, and I also wanted to list my product on Amazon and start selling that product with FBA. So at that time, I had around 900 pieces or 800 pieces that I wanted to send in. So I prepped everything was ready. And then when I went to, the Amazon Seller Central account, here you have to actually set up a FBA shipment. So you can actually send in that amount. So here, what I realized is that I had a restock limit of around 300 pieces, but I had 900 pieces to send in. So that would basically mean I have to send it in 3 times. So that's going to cost me a lot more money, just a lot more time taking it to the post office or asking someone to collect it. It's a bit of an inconvenience, right? So this is very important, especially if you're making your first FBA order. And sometimes your supplier might have a minimum order quantity of 1,000, it might be like 2,000, but your limit is only 300 pieces. So where are you going to send the rest of your inventory? So number one, you could keep it at your own house, but you still have to send it in 2, 3, 4 times separately, costing you a lot of time and money. Or if you actually know prior, then perhaps you can negotiate with your supplier and go for a lower minimum order quantity, perhaps paying a higher unit price per item. But that's just still going to save you more time and more money as well, because you don't have to, figure out where you want to store it, and you can ship that one shipment directly to the Amazon warehouse, right? You don't have to ship it to your house and then figure out when you're going to ship in the other stuff, right? So another way is that you can negotiate with your supplier, and perhaps you can actually keep some of that stock in their warehouse, and then only when you need it, then they can help you ship it out from China directly to the Amazon warehouse, right? Otherwise, you might have to, figure out where can you hold that stock. Like you might have to, if it's like really large, you might have to hire a separate space for that, like a third-party fulfillment center, and that's going to cost you money and time. So very, very important to know your restock limits, and normally they update your restock limits every 3 months. So depending on how much you actually sell. So previously I was at 300, then maybe 1,000, then 3,000. And now I don't have any limit because I've been selling for quite a while and I have a good sort of history with Amazon, and yeah, the product is actually moving. So my 5th mistake was registering the trademark myself. So initially when we started this Amazon brand, we knew that we had to get the brand registry, because brand registry is going to give you a lot of different benefits that you normally don't get. So for example, you get the A+ content, which basically allows you to have more graphics and have more sort of maybe like your benefits and features below your actual products page. That way you can actually increase conversions and increase sales. Very, very important to have. You've also got access to the Amazon storefront, so you can create sort of like a mini landing page or a mini website for your brand, and you can have different categories to showcase all your different products, all on just like sort of like your own custom page without your competitors there. Then you've also got access to the brand protection and brand analytics, which is very important to protect your brand and protect duplicate listings. Then you've also got access to increased advertising sort of locations. So generally when you want to advertise for your product on Amazon, you've got the Amazon pay-per-click, right? So normally you can only advertise on like the top section. So when people search for a specific keyword, you'll appear on the top, or on a specific location on the bottom. But with the brand registry, you also get additional places where you can put your products. So one of them is like next to your competitors' products on their product page. Then you've also got additional spot on the very, very top as well. You can also add like videos. There's just a lot more benefits in terms of having brand registry than not having it. So it's especially important if you want to compete in the very competitive marketplace like United States, because if you don't have it, then you're going to be at a loss. So we knew that we had to get brand registry, so we had to get the trademark, right? So what happened was I went to get the trademark myself because I thought that I had to get it myself, and then once it's pending, then I go through the Amazon IP Accelerator to get the trademark within a few weeks. But what I discovered was after getting inside, then what happened was that I realized that I had to actually go through the vetted IP law firms, and they had to register on behalf of my company. Because generally how a trademark works is that you register for it, and then the trademark office will actually post or advertise what you've registered to see if anyone is going to oppose that. Then if not, after 6 months, then you'll get approved for that. Then you can register your brand registry, right? But if you actually go through the IP Accelerator from the beginning, and if you go through the vetted IP law firms, then if they register the trademark on your behalf, even though the trademark is still pending, you'll be able to get the brand registry. So instead of waiting 6 months plus, you'll be able to get it maybe like 3 weeks or 2-3 weeks, depending how that goes. So I'm not sure about in terms of the pricing, probably a little bit more, but I think it is probably worth it, because otherwise you've basically wasted 6 months of time. And I think that's going to cost you a lot of money by not having those additional benefits of brand registry. So my 6th mistake was not paying enough attention to cash flow and really understanding cash flow and inventory planning and management. So I think this is a really important part of e-commerce, because if you don't have inventory, then you can't sell anything, right? And you can't make any money. But not many people talk about it because it's not very exciting. A lot more people like to do product research and things like that, or branding and packaging. but inventory is probably one of the top and most important parts of your business. So it's very important to understand that with e-commerce, that you don't actually get paid upfront, like from your customer. It generally takes time for that money to go into your bank account. And when you are purchasing stock, you do need to purchase in advance too. So let's say, for example, you want that stock to arrive in your warehouse in June. So you need to pay for your deposit in around, if it takes 60 days in total, for example, 30 days to produce and 30 days to ship, then you'll need to purchase that in April. So you basically need to put that money in April, and then in May, that's when you pay the balance. So normally 70%, deposit is 30%, balance is 70%. Then it gets shipped into the warehouse. Then you can start selling, but you're not selling sort of like the whole entire inventory, right? It's gonna slowly credit back into your account. Generally, it takes around 7 days after the delivery date when Amazon actually credits that money back into your account, and then they pay you out every fortnight. You can request it every 24 hours, but generally like every fortnight, you get paid out. So you don't actually receive, that money when you when you actually need it, right? It takes time for that money to actually come in. And when you want to place your next sort of deposit, generally money is going to be very, very tight, especially if you are ordering sort of more in terms of the quantity, as you're making more sales. So it's very, very important to keep on top of the inventory as well as your cash flow. Don't take any money out of your e-commerce business because you won't be able to, especially if you're making sales. If you do take it out, then you're probably going to put it back in anyway because you need to pay for your inventory. So another mistake that we made was basically in 2022 in the fourth quarter. We sort of ran out of stock in October, like early October or something like that, or mid-October, because we didn't order soon enough, right? Our stock came in like early November. So basically for like 2 to 3 weeks, our sales were really low because all of our popular variations were sort of sold out. So we lost out on a lot of sales leading up to Q4. So basically we didn't order soon enough. I just didn't realize that there was going to be that much more sales because it's sort of like, it was only like my first sort of full year. And also there were some shipping delays as well as some production delays because it was Q4. So because, everyone like us is placing an order, then the manufacturer is going to take you longer to produce, and shipping times, also the shipping ports, they might have delays there. Also, you got delays when Amazon is accepting your deliveries into the warehouse because they sort of tell the shipping company, when can you send in the product. Sometimes they're going to be a few days in delay of when they can actually stock in your product and things like that. So yeah, really keep on top of your inventory every single day. Sometimes your inventory, for example, your sales might go up a lot in one day or a few days, and then suddenly you'll need to order a lot sooner. So don't just generally you download like the Amazon app on your phone. What I like to do is probably switch it to like the units so you can actually see how many units you're selling every day, and then also keep an eye out on your inventory levels every single day. Probably like you can create like a Google Sheet and you can set it up like that way to find out when you need to actually reorder. For everyone's product is different as well. So yeah, very important to keep on top of your cash flow and inventory management when doing Amazon FBA. Otherwise, you're going to lose a lot of money. So my 7th mistake was actually purchasing a $2,000 course when I later found out a free course was better than that one. So back in 2018, I purchased a popular course from a popular YouTuber at that time, and then I went through it. At that time, it was good. I didn't really think too much of it. I just thought it was okay, and I didn't really complain too much because I haven't really seen any other one, right? So only in 2021, when we decided to really seriously start Amazon FBA, I got introduced to Helium 10 from someone on YouTube as well. And at that time, I just thought of it as a software to find profitable products and to find out keywords I can target for my products. I didn't really think too much of it. Only after when I started to use it, then I realized that there was a learning hub. In this learning hub, there's actually a free course called the Freedom Ticket. So right now it's on the 3rd version of it. So they've probably updated 3 or 4 times now. And I just thought like the free course is not going to be like very good and very detailed, but I was wrong. Like when I clicked into it, there's from week 1 to week 10, and the difference between this course and the one that I bought last time, it is, first of all, like it's in HD quality. Last time the video was like really bad, and also the audio is really good quality here. Everything is very polished. You've also got in each of the different weeks, it's not just like a very specific method of teaching something, but they give you a good sort of understanding and good overview of Amazon business as a whole, so you can sort of determine which option is best for you, right? From last time when I purchased the course, it was very, like the method was very specific to one way of doing things, and I didn't really know that at that time. But sometimes when you purchase a course from a single creator, they basically have limited experience. Maybe they have sold 1 or 2 successful products in 1 or 2 niches, or maybe it's not that profitable. That's why they're selling you a course. But in this course, it's a very good understanding, very good overview. As you can see, they have Intro to Selling on Amazon. They have 15 lessons in just 1 week. Week 2, you've got Basics of Amazon Selling, 18 lessons. And if you click into here, Business Formation Requirements, they've also got downloadable PDFs as well. So it's a very, very in-depth course, especially amazing because you can actually get started for around $29 per month. So it's $29 for the starter plan, billed annually. This includes the actual software as well. So for example, because you need to do product research before you get started, you have this Helium 10 Chrome extension, click on it, and then it basically shows you an estimated or roughly of how much sales each product is actually making. So from here, you can decide, what to sell. Is there an opportunity for you to sell a specific product that you can actually improve upon? You've also got the search volume, so a lot of information here to find profitable products, but you're going to need that anyway, right? You're going to need that tool anyway. And inside the starter plan, you get access to the Freedom Ticket. So if you get this software for like 1 or 2 months to find the product, you can use it and then also go through the Freedom Ticket at the same time for just $29, right? Rather than spending $1,000 or $2,000 on a course, which, frankly, I think it didn't really justify that cost. Here, you've also got the Platinum plan as well, and this is going to give you access to the Amazon PPC Academy, so the paid advertising. So back here, you go to click on Dashboard. Let's go back to the library. So here they have a separate course as well. So in the Freedom Ticket, it's mainly taught by Kevin King, who has sold millions of dollars worth of products in multiple different niches. So he has a lot of experience in selling on Amazon as well. And then he's also got additional guests that talk about specific parts of it, the Amazon business as well, because obviously, you don't know everything. So he's got experts covering that. And with the Amazon Pay-Per-Click Academy, again, it's a very, very in-depth course as well in here. So pretty much all for $79 per month. Okay, so that is billed annually. Now if you go with the annual plan, monthly plan, sorry, it's $99 and $39. You can also use my coupon code, so Hogan50, and apply, and then that's going to give you a 20% off for the first 6 months. So I'll also leave a link in the description below. Now there is an alternative called Jungle Scout. I'm sure that you probably have heard of it. But at that time, it wasn't available in Australia, so that's why I went with Helium 10. And I've also gone through the Jungle Scout course at that time. It was a bit more basic than Helium 10. So yeah, if you could get started, I'd recommend Helium 10 and see how you go rather than purchasing a course. So yeah, so I highly recommend it. It's really, really amazing value. They've also got a YouTube channel with podcasts, additional updates on the software, and they've also got a complete case study on their channel as well. I'll leave a link in the description. So a ton of free resources. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars. You can rather invest that into your inventory. So my 8th mistake was probably spending too much time to create this perfect brand and to create the website, create the Instagram page, and also purchasing a little bit too many samples before we actually launched, because it did actually cost a lot of money and time to do all those things, where I felt like it didn't really impact the sales too much. the biggest determinant in increasing sales is probably going to be the price of your product. So the higher that you price your product, the less the sales that you're going to make generally. And I felt like in the Australian marketplace, it just wasn't ready for a more expensive premium type of item where you've added a few features, because we launched a separate product from our main product, and that's what we realized, because we added several different features and it added more cost to it, as well as the packaging. It wasn't as thin as we could have made it. So if I were to do it again, I would definitely go for a more cost efficient route. Don't do a lot of the website stuff and a lot of the different branding things, because I felt like we didn't really need to. I will definitely launch the product as quick as possible, as efficiently as possible for the Australian marketplace. So it could be different if you're like in the US marketplace, because there might be a bigger market and you can sell something at a higher price point with additional features. But for the Australian marketplace, that was my personal experience. So the ninth mistake that we made was in the packaging. We also had an instruction booklet, and in the instruction booklet, I had a coupon code, like a 10% coupon code for people to use. So I felt that that was a mistake, because I should have separated into two separate ones, like a instruction booklet and a separate card for the coupon. I sort of realized it only once when I was ordering Youfoodz, which is a meal delivery service. They had a separate menu, and then they had a separate referral code that you can give to your friends and things like that. I felt that way is going to be much better, because sometimes people are just not going to read the instructions and they're not going to see your coupon code. So once we implemented two separate papers, it really impacted and helped our sales as well. So that's something that you probably want to consider, because it's just a little bit more visible that way. And the last mistake was probably just not starting earlier, right? Because if we had started like back in like 2018 or something, just when Amazon started in Australia, I felt like even though that at that time there wasn't many products, and perhaps, there's a little bit of fear going in there, because at that time there wasn't actually many tools that were able to calculate the estimated sales. Even if we just started and maybe even lost money, we'll still be further ahead than if we were started like in 2021. Because as you know, the pandemic happened, and then at that time, a lot of people were spending so much time at home. And if we started 2018, for sure, we would have a lot more products, and that would have been amazing, right? So I don't think there's a perfect time to start, even though that there is like these mistakes that you're watching and other people like failing and things like that. You can make it successful. It just takes a little bit of time, and it might not be the first product that is successful and profitable. It's going to be probably like the second and third and future products that is going to be successful and making a ton of money, right? So it's very, very important, not to be discouraged by these mistakes that I'm sharing with you guys, just to take it in and then get started. And your business is, for sure, you're going to make a ton of mistakes, but you just keep on improving. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this FBA video. Hopefully you guys found some value in it. If you had, then drop a like and leave a comment in the description if you have any questions. All the links that I mentioned will be in the video description as well. Thank you.